we're discussing planned aggregate expenditure and what it means, we have to interpret the graph and see what it can show us. With the pay graph showing how planned spending in the economy relates directly to national income. The formula for it is pay equals C plus I plus G plus NX. This can involve consumption plus investment plus government spending plus net exports. How we draw it as a whole shows the vertical axis being the pay, planned aggregate expenditure, and the horizontal axis stands for the income, or real GDP. When we're discussing this, we can see how if the output is below equilibrium, spending is greater, which will involve firms producing more. However, if the output is above equilibrium, spending is less, and firms will cut production in order to get back to the equilibrium. As we can see here, the pay graph can also involve an equation that has its own different components as well when we're talking about planned aggregate expenditure. This equation right here involves pay equaling A plus BY, with A meaning autonomous expenditure, B standing for marginal propensity to consume, and Y meaning national income. When we're discussing the difference between pay versus Y, planned aggregate expenditure versus aggregate expenditure, pay is planned spending, how much households, firms, and the government intend to spend, whereas Y is the actual output or income, what the economy actually produces as a whole. At the equilibrium, pay should equal Y. However, if pay is greater than Y, firms will increase production as a whole. However, if pay is less than Y, then firms will end up cutting production as a result. These factors as a whole play a key part in our own understanding of this topic. When we discuss autonomous expenditure, this as a whole means the base level of spending that occurs when the income is zero in an economy. It sets the intercept of the pay line. Marginal propensity to consume is how much spending increases when pay rises. It determines the slope of pay as a whole, which allows us to create this equation and allows us to have a better understanding of planned aggregate expenditure versus actual aggregate expenditure.